Hi guys and welcome to the video. So I just got done watching Star Trek Picard Season 2 Episode 5. So I'm going to give you a basic rundown of the episode. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. In the previous episode we were left with Picard and he had been whisked away by the Watcher, who looks like Lars, but isn't Lars, but is, but isn't. He's been whisked away. So the episode opens up in a simulator, and I kind of knew it was a simulator because it just looks like a simulator, and it wouldn't intercut with just a woman in space in a rocket or anything like that, because that wouldn't make any sense. So the girl from the previous episode, the end of the previous episode, is in the simulator. She fails the simulator, and well, that's pretty much it. And it's all intercut with a conversation that the Watcher is having with Picard, saying that I'm here to watch this one girl. Okay, this one girl who's clearly gonna impact the future in some massive way, and she's there to watch. She doesn't know who Q is. Picard says, it's all been done by an entity called Q. And she goes, well, what's a Q? I don't know what Q is. But these people were described in the last episode as being some kind of intergalactic watchers of time and space, but they've never heard of the Q continuum. For whatever reason, could be more time fuckery, I don't know. Anyway, regardless of that, she points a gun at him, which is fun. And Picard goes, my name is Jean-Luc Picard, you see. And she goes, well, that's interesting. You should say your name is Jean-Luc Picard. Because the girl who I'm watching, her name is, and it cuts to the badge, and it's Renee Picard, okay? So her name is Renee Picard. And Picard's like, oh my God. No, he's not. And we cut to credits. Now, one very interesting point at the end of these credits is this episode is directed by Jonathan Frakes. And boy, oh boy, can you tell it's directed by Jonathan Frakes, because it's a much better episode. Now, I feel kind of bad for Jonathan Frakes, and I don't feel bad for Jonathan Frakes, okay? So it's a bit here and there. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode. Jonathan Frakes is a good director of Star Trek material, okay? But he's been obviously handed this semi-polished turd, and he's got to make it into a polished turd, and you can't polish a turd, okay? So whenever he pops into Discovery and Picard as a director, you think, okay, well, this is probably the better of what we're actually going to get, because he's actually a really good director. So Jonathan Frakes is on board. We cut to the Borg Queen, and she's being very Borg Queeny. She gets the idea, stay with me on this one, because I brought this up in my last video. She gets the wonderful idea of tapping into Earth's communication relays, the pre-existing one, and communicating and calling the police. She calls the French police. This basically says, there's a woman being abused in Chateau Picard. Please come and help. Please come and help. After, by the way, tricking the computer into thinking that she's Rios, after trying the voice of Jurati, the voice of Picard, I believe the voice of Raffi at some point. But she picks Rios, because Rios is the ship's captain in the dark future. She gets through and obviously puts in a hoax call in order to get someone out to the chateau, clearly. Cuts away to Rios, and he's travelling in the bus. Travelling in the bus of deportees. And it's a bus, it's got about 20 people in it. Conservative guess, it's got about 20 people in it. And Raffi and Seven are standing on the hillside. And Raffi wants to beam him out of there. They think about beaming him out of there. And Raffi's acting like a child. So they say, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave me alone. And Seven goes, Raffi, stop being a child, okay? Let me get Rios off that bus. Because we can't transport him out. Because people will see him. Okay, people will see him disappear off that bus and they'll go, hang on a minute, what happened? That's transporters. Oh no, we contaminate the timeline, okay? So Seven has this bright idea that instead of contaminating the timeline by transporting Rios off and everyone going, oh, he disappeared, she has this bright idea to send out an EMP pulse to stop the bus dead. Dead. And everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? And Rios goes, oh, my friends are coming. You better be ready. To everybody. And they're like, yo, don't start anything. The ice guy says, oi, quiet. Everyone quiet. Don't move. I'm going to investigate this. And Rios isn't quiet. And the ice guy goes, you know what? I'm coming in there to kick your booty. Rios ends up kicking his booty, and Seven and Raffi come and stun the guards. And everyone gets off the bus. Raffi thinks she sees Elnor, and it just turns out and she's probably just, hallucinating with the trauma. Whatever, doesn't really matter. The point is, they let everyone off the bus. People who were on that bus and going to be on that bus, they let off the bus, and now, like many branches from a tree, they get to fuck with time. They get to change the future. Instead of having one man disappear off a bus and 20 people going, I saw him disappear, and the tabloid papers getting involved, and it was becoming a mad conspiracy theory. Rationally speaking, it would turn into a conspiracy theory, one man disappearing off a bus. But no, you see. Everybody has to get off the bus, and they have to free the persecuted people. The people being deported. If you take away the fact that they're detainees, being deported and everything, the simple fact is those 20 people were on a bus going somewhere, and now they're not on the bus going somewhere. They're going somewhere else, which would irrevocably change the timeline. But again, the show doesn't care about its own rules, and I made this point in my addendum video. By the way, leave me a comment if you want to see more of those addendum videos. I tend to do them when I've had more time to think about the episode, and some points where I go, actually. So yeah, do let me know if you want to see more of those. Raffi, Seven, and Rios have freed all these people, and they're going to go change the timeline. But the show doesn't care because because it doesn't care about its own rules. We cut back to Picard and the Watcher basically shows Picard a therapy session with Rene Picard, and instantly I knew who was the therapist, because it's not as if you can hide John DeLance's voice. Picard realizes, this voice, I know this voice. Show me the therapist! Show me the therapist! And she shows him the therapist, and of course it's Q. It's Q going, what can we see here? It wasn't like that. But anyway, and Picard gets proper frustrated. That's Q! He's playing the therapist! We cut to Marty McFly's mother, who I believe actually directed some of the previous episodes. Who knew? They're in some sort of committee, and of course there's another voice you recognise instantly. I know who that is. And it's Brent Spiner, playing another one of Soong's ancestors. It sort of cuts between the two places. Picard likes to do this a lot. He likes to do intercuts between two different places. His daughter is the actress who plays Soji and Daj, so clearly it's going to be a case of future Soong based, the Soji and Daj off of Adam Soong. I think his name's Adam Soong's daughter. Regardless of how that happens, the actress who plays Soji plays Soong's daughter. So Soong's daughter's not well. She can't go out in the sun, and she's very allergic to a lot of things. She's like a bubble girl. Soong has to keep her indoors, and he's a geneticist, and he's working on genetic engineering, where we've seen this before, if not Enterprise, where it's handled by, I believe it's Arik Soon. Is it Arik Soon in Enterprise? Anyway, regardless. And look at the size of that freaking needle. And he basically gets banned from any future work or research on genetic engineering, and he's all frustrated and he's angry. The committee ban him. Look at that screen grab. It's great. I love that. So he's a bit lost. He can't cure his daughter because he can't continue his research. And his super widescreen monitor. By the way, I want that monitor. I need that monitor. Maybe I should start a Patreon. I need a monitor, people. The text on the monitor says, I can help. Check your 3D printer, which made me chuckle a little bit. Check your 3D printer. So he goes over to the 3D printer, and he's got a 3D printed card with, I believe, a set of coordinates or a telephone number or something like that, and it's a magnifying glass in the shape of a Q, because But I've seen that somewhere before. Maybe just missing an eye. I don't know. Nothing is original these days, is it? Cut back to Chateau Picard. The police have been called. The police have responded, and they've sent one police officer to investigate a potential domestic abuse at Chateau Picard, the abandoned Chateau Picard. No activity. He goes, there's nothing here. It's old and abandoned. And then he spots the Lost Serena cloaking fritz thing. The ship's fritzing. Jurati's asleep, by the way. He completely misses the woman asleep on the couch. And he goes over there and sees the Borg Queen. And the Borg Queen references his nicotine addiction and then seemingly grabs him or does something to him. I thought she was going to assimilate him. Cut back to Los Angeles, and Arik soon meets up with Q. And Q basically says, I can help you. I know your research, yada yada. Brent Spiner's character goes, well, no, because I've met freaks like you. Didn't like this particular line, the basement dwelling Nazis, which I had an eye roll moment at. He says, I've met people like you before, and you've always wasted my time, the basement dwelling Nazis. Who are they? And some of you will say, I dwell in a basement. I do not dwell in a basement. I'm not a basement dweller. I'm pale because I'm fair-haired. I'm not pale because I'm a basement dweller. I'm happily married with children, and I have a very patient wife who understands that I need to make these videos. So yes, I'm not a basement dweller. Anyway, just in case you were wondering if I have a life, I have a life, I have a wife, and I have kids, and I have a job. And I do these videos for fun. So if you're enjoying them, then thank you for your support. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So Q makes him sit down by saying, I know your daughter's ill. And he basically hands him the blue pill that we saw in the trailer. And this is what you would assume would be a cure for his daughter. But knowing Q, it's not. There's going to be some catch attached to it. Picard manages to convince the Watcher that his crew will be able to help. And he pulls out that communicator and puts the power cell in. And I just thought back to the previous episode where the little girl said, don't even think about bringing your communicator. And he said, I'm going to be stranded. And she said, pull the power cell out. But the first sign of activation, you're in deep trouble. So she activates it. And the Watcher's just like, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't take orders from you, Picard. And he goes, I know my crew can help. They're a good bunch. Let them help. It cuts to Jurati, and the Borg Queen wakes Jurati up with a big megaphone saying, Jurati, Jurati, Agnes, Agnes. Agnes picks up the gun, goes onto the ship, and the guy's not dead. He's not being assimilated. He's just being strangled by the Queen's tentacles. Some of these sentences I never thought I'd say in my entire life. Been strangled by the Queen's tentacles. And she goes, Jurati, Jurati, I need to assimilate you. You need to be me. I need to be you. Blah, 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 blah. And Jurati goes, this needs to end. And fires the gun. Cut to Adam Soon, who's the geneticist, who's called Adam. On the nose, the blue pill thing that Q gave him is 100% effective. It's going to cure his daughter. So he takes his daughter outside and puts her under a big force field brolly to protect her against the sun. This girl who, if she catches a speck of dust, she could die. She could stop breathing. But he takes her outside, puts her under this canopy, and she's breathing air, Los Angeles air, which can't be too clean these days. She injects herself with this blue liquid, this cure. He turns off the force field immediately. Like, well, dude, give it a chance to bloody work. But he turns it off immediately. Okay, and she starts basking in the sun. And she jumps in the swimming pool. And she's having a jolly old time of it. He's like, oh yeah, this is so amazing. She's like, oh my God, I can swim. And could mum swim? And he goes, no, yeah, she was pretty much like a duck in water. Or duck on water. And then she starts having this bad reaction and she falls to the ground. So clearly the cure is temporary. Cut back to La Serena. Jurati's covered in blood. And she says, I had to do it, I had no choice. She killed the Queen. She actually killed the Queen. I love that. Killed the Queen. She killed the Queen. She says, I didn't want to kill the Queen, but I had killed the Queen. And I didn't enjoy killing the Queen, but I had to kill the Queen. And I'm wondering how many chances this video gets for me to say that line, kill the Queen. And the police officer's alive, although Jurati had to remove his spleen. But it's okay because she wiped his memory. But he's not going to be able to remember how he lost his spleen. Be a bit of a medical mystery, no doubt. But Jurati's feeling very bad. She's feeling very bad about having to kill the Queen. Very bad. Because Jurati has killed Bruce Maddox in the past. And she feels very bad. There were no repercussions for her because she was under the influence of a vision, you see. Yeah, meaning she can get away with murder. I think she's got a taste for it now. She didn't want to kill the Queen, but she's killed the Queen. The Queen is dead. The Borg Queen is dead. On the ship, beams in Picard and the Watcher. And I did chuckle at this. Because Picard's going, "Oh, my crew are a lovely bunch. Absolutely fantastic bunch. Oh, you'll really like them. They'll be really helpful." And they are dragging this cop away. And Picard turns to her and she goes, "That your crew, the ones that are dragging that body?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm sure he's not dead."
Talk about bad timing.
It did make me chuckle, made me laugh. Sue me. Soon gets a visit from Q, and Soon goes, "Let me guess, you've got the actual cure, the one that isn't temporary." And Q goes, "Quid pro quo." Well, he doesn't say that, but it's quid pro quo. He wants something, and the doctor's, he's going to cure his daughter, which again has been done recently in Star Trek. But hey ho, it's Star Trek Into Darkness, isn't it? Yeah, it is a trope of modern Trek to have an ill daughter and someone who will do anything to cure their child, and it just so happens they're doing it with Q and Soon this time. So Q mentions the name Picard and how he needs Soon to do something to deal with them in some way. Cuts back to Chateau Picard, and the episode takes a bit of a tonal shift and becomes a kind of like a heist movie. You get the scene where they're having to plan how to get in, and you've got the heist type music in the background. I had to roll my eyes at that. I thought, oh my god, it is some form of heist. But it's not a heist, it's a break-in. So they have to figure out how to get into this gala this Renault Picard is going to, because they have to try and watch her to make sure that she's not interfered with, and to try and make sure she goes through with the mission. Now, Renault Picard is depressed and anxious. She suffers from anxiety and everything, and she's going to clearly change the future in some way. And Q's done something to stop it. None of this really makes any sense at the moment, and I'm kind of hoping it does, but I'm expecting it won't make a lot of sense, because Q's gone back and changed the past. At this point, you're really not sure which Q you're dealing with. The Q that has already gone back and changed the past, or the Q that is interacting with Picard as a result of changing the past. It's really, I don't think it makes any sense to itself, let alone to anybody else. So they're having to get into this gala that this astronaut lady, Renee Picard, is going to go in. Picard's ancestor. There's a whole series of, typical tropes of heist movies. We've got to circumvent this security to circumvent that security. Then we've got facial recognition. We've got all this. It's really cheesy. I didn't like it at all. But they decide they've got to send Agnes in after she's just still dealing with the trauma. I say trauma because she looks traumatized, but not quite, of killing the Borg Queen, which Picard's done before. It's no big deal. It's a Borg Queen. She's potentially the biggest threat the Federation has ever faced, unless you watch Discovery, and that's just a bunch of bugs that really didn't know what they were doing. Anyway, I digress. So they get Jurati into the gala, and she's instantly spotted by security because she acts all suspicious and everything, and she's pulled away. And then we go back to the scene with the Borg Queen and the guy and Jurati basically gets partially assimilated, and the Queen injects her nanotubule things into her neck, and precisely where we thought it was going, it was going. It's very predictable. Now the Borg Queen is in Jurati's head, and we get to have a body kind of thing going on with the Borg Queen in Jurati's head. And that's it. That's the episode. That's pretty much where it ends. Probably a load of stuff that I've missed. I might do an addendum video for this. If you want to see that, then again, let me know in the comments section. But yeah, the episode was meh. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. There were a few moments where I rolled, and a few moments where I went, this show likes to break its own continuity. And I find that with a lot of NUTREK. They break their own continuity all the time. And it's not just continuity with prior Star Trek, it's continuity within the same season of a show, within the same show, the same season of a show, or the previous episode. I mean, they're so hell-bent on making no changes to the timeline whatsoever. They can't make any changes to the timeline. However, you can release a busload of people that would have otherwise stayed on the bus and gone to a place. At this point, it makes no sense. I'm sure it'll make sense by the end of the season. You know, right now it makes no sense. Anyway, that's it. That's the episode. That's the breakdown. What did I think? It was... It was alright. It was... okay. There was a few entertaining moments. There was a few really not entertaining moments. There was a few boring moments. And there was a few revelations. Not gonna lie. But the whole Q changing and passing, I just don't know which Q I'm seeing. You know, it doesn't make it obvious which Q I'm seeing. At what point, and what's happened to his powers? Has he lost his powers? Has he just simply lost the ability to change this woman's past? Will it be answered? I don't know. I just wanted to say a big, huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed. This channel is growing really quickly, and I'm really thankful to everybody who has subscribed so far. And if you're new here and you like the content that I do, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Come and check out the other videos that I've done. There are plenty on there now. I'm looking to branch out a little bit from Star Trek, do other shows, maybe review some games. I also want to share with you my intention that when Star Trek Resurgence comes out, I believe it's quarter 2 of this year. When that comes out, I'm going to get it and I'm going to do a live stream while playing it. So I hope you'll all join me on that. Let me know if that's something you want to see. And as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, I should be doing a celebratory live stream. I'll answer any questions that you may have. Hopefully that will go well. But not until I reach 1,000 subscribers. So feel free to share the video and let's get it as far and wide as possible. Until the next Star Trek Picard episode is released, I bid you farewell. Look after yourselves, look after one another, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Stop the violence of the war in my head. Time's the healer, the eraser of all done and said. And as I fall back to my shelter, I know I'll only find peace in your smile.